And it's starting.
And the video starting. And I have my backup questions here.
Oh.
In case I get starstruck.
Uh-huh.
You know?
No.
Yes, I get starstruck, Nicole. Okay, where is
You're the
it?
star.
Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Okay. Nice. You ready, Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to All Access.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to meet you. We have a legend of the sport here, Nicol David, eight times world champion,
Yes.
9 years at world number one,
Yes.
right? Nice.
Yes.
So I thought I was doing well with my career, but
You are.
puts things, yeah. So welcome, Nicole.
Thank you.
How
Thanks
are
for
you?
having me.
Yeah, yes,
Good to
pleasure.
see you.
So basically what we're doing is, this is called All Access. It's not an interview.
Yeah.
It's just me and you spend time together, you know, and throw things back and forth,
Yeah,
and talk
sure.
honestly. I'm sure lots of people would like to see what we have to say.
Yeah, of course.
I'd like to start the first question with something where I need your honest opinion.
Yeah.
No cliches, no clean politics. You know, we won't stay safe.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to the IOC?
I just want them to actually. What I want to say is make sure that they know what they are actually really up for sport, like new sports. If they say a new sport, squash is it, you know. And when they say something, they should actually just do it and get it right. So I think that's what I want to say to them.
Because I have a lot of things I would like
Yeah.
to say to the IOC, you know. Like for me, it's not about playing the Olympics anymore. Like this
No,
sport,
it's-
I would have liked to do it when they first mentioned, or when I first found out that squash isn't in the Olympics as a youngster.
Yeah,
When I was
yeah.
like 13, 14, and I found out, oh, squash is not in the Olympics.
Yes.
I was like, no, you know what, I would actually like to play the Olympics. But I started to play squash, I said, I want to be the best. I want to try and be world
It's something
champion.
to aspire to, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the pinnacle of any athlete, and
Yeah.
if you are an Olympian
Yeah.
and to actually compete in Olympic Games,
Represent your country
yeah,
with
it's
other
just
athletes.
tremendous. It's just like a huge achievement
Yeah.
for a squash player to actually have. Like now, we can't even get to that point because
Yeah.
there's no accessibility to it.
Like I'd love to
Yeah.
play the Olympics because I want to. It's like for me now, what I'm feeling now is about I deserve to be there, out of respect for my sport and for
Yeah.
the effort I do
Yeah.
and what we do. Because I think there is not one component in squash that is not an Olympic.
Doesn't resemble an
resemble
Olympic sport. Yeah.
sport. You know, you have the endurance part, you have the finesse part, you have
We
the
have
agility
everything.
part,
Yeah.
you have everything.
Yeah.
So and when I keep talking to people now, the last few years, it's like, why aren't you in the Olympics? Why aren't you in the Olympics? My answer is always, why aren't we in the Olympics? You know,
Yeah.
like we should be there. And
Yeah.
I think, like, I want to ask you what you think. Like for me, I think we should just forget about that now.
Yeah.
But what we need to know is, why didn't they pick us? Like,
Yeah,
why?
I
Did they
think
say
we
that?
have to have an explanation.
Did they give us?
At the moment, I think it's because they gave Tokyo 2020 the initial nomination, so they had the power to choose. So if it was, for instance, in the Olympic Games in Egypt, obviously you're like
We would have chosen
they would
squash,
have
for
chosen
sure.
squash. So for their position, the Tokyo 2020 would choose all the sports that they would actually get a medal in 2020.
So it's
like,
Japan that chose.
yeah,
But if
the
it-
nominations, and then the IOC will decide next year from the 5 sports what they want.
Wow, so they changed the rules again.
And so every time, the last 4 times that I've been involved with the bidding process, it's changed every single time.
And I think every single time, if it was another way, we would have gotten in,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like if it was the IOC this time,
Yeah.
we probably would have gotten in.
Yeah,
If
but
last time they didn't put wrestling,
Yeah.
we probably would have been in.
Yeah.
The time before,
if we've already actually would have gotten in London, but it's just like a simple procedure was it changed it all
yeah,
up.
and then in London
And
they said, yeah, we won the shortlist, right?
we won, but then they had to change to another. So I think it all depends on the moment and who like the IOC is powerful, and they know that, you know, they need to make the right decisions, and but then the sport, but you know, we have everything, and I think
Yeah, man.
that should be exempted in our minds now that squash is a product that we have to continue to grow and develop, and because we got so many things that we can offer, and we want to make it something that does sell and is commercially attractive. And I think that's our aim right now. Not so much the Olympics, but that has just given us a boost to make sure, hey, we are a sport that can really make a difference in the world. And
yeah, I'm sure, because when you get all athletes from all the different sports that I've met, they play squash to get fit. They play squash because it makes them better in their sport.
Exactly, and it's just a sport that it's just one of the best sports that you can pick up, just in terms of being an all-round athlete, and it
the
brings
satisfaction it gives you after you have a good workout of squash.
You get so much out of it. 30 minutes is enough. People just die from 30-minute workouts.
That's what we should do now in tournaments. Have us just play 30 minutes now.
Yeah.
So so I would like to ask you 99% of us squash players started because one of our parents was a player. Like for me, it was my mom who was a squash player, and she handed it down to my parents and my sister, and that's how I started playing squash at a very young age. How did you get involved with squash?
It was my sisters as well, my two older sisters, and also my dad. His friend built the first public squash center in Penang.
Oh wow!
So that's how they started off getting my sisters involved. And when I was like 5, I was running around, and they thought the only way they could keep me in one place is to put me in a squash court. So they just locked the door, and then gave me a racket and a ball, and I just loved it from there, and watched them play with my sisters, and they were very instrumental to my development. And
so do your sisters ask for royalties now? That you've made it to the very top and stayed there? They deserve a huge present, I imagine. No?
Well, they have been they were coaching quite a bit as well, and actually my older sister was helping out with the junior development, and Weewan was one of the few juniors at the time.
Wow. Coming up from that department.
Yeah, but nice. I mean, they were very they always went on court with me, even though they were so much stronger. I was like the small brat that want to just play, and but they still gave me a lot of time, and showed me the experience, and they know how to do it when you're traveling. They were great.
Nice. So we met, I think first time we met was in Malaysia in '95.
My sisters were also playing then.
I remember I stayed with you and Ong Beng Hee and Yop Kok For, and I stayed with that amazing Malaysian national team, and I spent quite a few weeks there. I think I stayed for a whole month. Training with you guys, and it was a great experience for me to
see the setup,
because it reminded me of how we were in Egypt, like very closely knit, and we all trained together, we all hang out together, and it wasn't a stretch for me. I didn't feel out of place.
It's very family feel. So that's what we have created in Penang, where my hometown. It was very we were all a very small, a good family, and then and now they create that for the academy in Penang as well. That they bring that forward to the next generation, and also the national team. They are very, we all get along really well. Like how the Egyptians are so close. Everybody support each other. But what was really good is when you came by at the time is when we slowly got funding and the recognition when Ong Beng Hee went overseas to play the British juniors, and he was doing really well, and we got the funding to take us overseas afterwards. He did it on his own, but he had to take that first step, and we followed suit, and that's how we got the funding. We got into the Commonwealth Games, and when you came in, it was just a great time for squash for us to develop and to get exposure.
I think watching you go through the junior career, you were always a top junior, you always had those results, but I don't think anybody of us imagined how high you're going to raise the bar. Like you were always the champion in the juniors, but you always had strong competitors playing against you. I always knew you can get to the top. I didn't think you're gonna dominate
Yeah.
that long and be such a
I didn't know
superior
either.
athlete. You know, like you really,
Yeah,
like you
thanks.
really dominated the last 10 years. Like you can actually call the women's tour the Nicol David tour during that decade.
You're too kind.
No, but what I'm trying to go
Yeah.
with this is, I had going from the juniors. I was a good junior, but I never had the results. I always used to come second in the
I've
British
seen you
Open.
playing, and
Yeah,
it was so nice to watch.
yeah, I
like when
was
you were
always-
Faizy
Yeah,
and
with
all
Faizy and these
all the
guys.
other guys.
So
was
I was
amazing.
up there, but like for example, my best result in the World Juniors was quarterfinal in the under 19, and then after maybe a year or two, people who kept telling me, yeah, you can make it, you can be at the top and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then there was, I think when I was 21 or 22 in 2000, I had a breakthrough where
Yeah.
I was very small like you with my
Yeah.
body. I was never the strongest. I was
Yeah.
never the fittest. I was never the fastest.
But,
And I
yeah.
always used to struggle playing in tournaments. Like whenever I played, okay, if I play somebody my age who's not it was same body type,
Yeah.
I felt fine. I can breathe. I can run. I can last 30, 40 minutes.
It's all
But
just
whenever-
your belief in
Yeah.
what you can do, and then you can just take.
But if I played with somebody 2 steps above me or stronger, faster, I couldn't breathe. I just felt like I can last 5-10 minutes. I couldn't last. But then at 2021, I had this breakthrough where my game happened together, my breathing,
Yeah.
I just found it. You know,
Yeah.
I just found. When did that happen for you, and how do? Is there a certain thing with you? Like for me,
Yeah.
I just found the simplicity of it. I said, okay, if I keep it simple
Yeah.
and reserve my energy, I can actually start seeing the ball and play. So for me, it was
Slow it
about
down.
simplicity. What was
Yeah.
your breakthrough, if there was?
Yeah.
And what was that breakthrough, if you can
Moment.
pinpoint it?
Yeah. I think it was more the like during the juniors. I just love to win, and I would just determine that if I go on court, my whole objective is to win, and I was doing well at it in the juniors, but I never would imagine what I've done for this period of time, but I think that breakthrough was really the moment where I moved to Amsterdam and worked with Liz, and I think just her experience and being at the top, and she has opened my mind up to the world of squash in a whole different dimension, and I was so busy with like playing the game and just enjoying it. But when you want to be the top and the best, you have to be so open and like you have to break everything down to zero and start again, because then you create options, you create dimensions in your game that you don't even know. And even with my speed,
you couldn't see it before.
Yeah, I couldn't see it, and also to utilize what my strengths are, like my speed and and how I can last longer, but efficiently, and movement, she changed my movement because to make it more efficient, and all these things makes you even better, and that's what really gave me that switch that if I stick to this, I can go somewhere, and I can be good. I can keep I can push the top players.
I talked to Liz Irving, your coach,
Yeah.
before, and she told me she's never seen a more dedicated athlete as you were. Never missed a training session, always gave it 100%, even if that 100% was at 10%, but it was always 100%.
Yeah.
So for me, we were talking about it, it is dedication, it is just being mentally up for it. We said mentally it's 80% of being successful in your sport, and I truly believe you managed to master that. So we can say it was your determination and your mental toughness, which is a good habit to have, that got you to that point, you think?
Yeah, it's you have, I think I was with my family that supported me all the way, gives you that extra encouragement to push and to do your best. There's nothing holding you back, and they gave me the freedom to know that if you do something well, you just go for it, and also the trust in what Liz is there to offer. If you have a slight doubt, you kind of go or question a few things, you just maybe slow down the process of what you're trying to work on. So I was fully believing on, if I want to make it, I've seen Liz have done amazingly in her career, why not give it a shot, and follow suit. It was hard because you go back to from scratch and zero, and then you have to start building, but then the more you get the feel of it, then you understand the game better. It gets more exciting, and then you see yourself improve to a whole another level. And I'm still, you know, learning from her and growing, and you know, you change as well as you get older. But
We both, as juniors, when we were young juniors, I'm talking
Yeah.
like when we were 10 years old, 11
Yeah.
years old, there was still no internet. There was
No,
no
no.
squash TV.
no,
There was no, like, even the,
yeah, you
if
don't
we were
see
lucky,
many players playing.
If we were lucky, we used to get those VHS videos.
Yeah, and
put
watch.
it in.
Yeah.
Like for me, I remember I used to get the Squash Player magazine. Remember the small one?
Yeah,
And I used to
yeah,
get hold of
same.
as much videos as I can. And I used to imagine how it would be playing with those players. Like I
Yeah.
think I spent the first 3-4 years of when I first actually started playing squash regularly and trying to be good at it.
Yeah.
I think I spent my first 3 years daydreaming and making scenarios and making up storylines
That's
of
the
me
best way
playing
to
the
do
top
it,
players.
yeah.
Like I was a huge fan of the sport in general. Like even at that point, I didn't know if I'm gonna be good or not. I just loved it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
right now, I have that in different sports now. Like for example, I do that in golf now. For
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
But did you have
watch,
that?
You watch the best.
You watch the best.
Yeah,
and you just
because that's the way to.
daydream about it.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Like my dad actually had some tapes before of, like, you know, Jeff Hahn and all those tapes, like, you know, the training tapes as
Yeah,
well, just to
yeah,
get
the
some
training
visuals.
tapes, yeah.
So, but then at the same time, when I was growing up, we only had those squash player magazines.
Yeah.
And any squash you watch is at the junior tournaments, like, you know, watching you play before, and then but then it was when I moved to Amsterdam, Liz actually had tapes, you know, like watching Michelle and Susan Devoy,
Yeah, I
and then
remember those. I used to watch those tapes.
and
Yeah.
Jahangir, and you know, that's when you learn and understand what it takes to be the best, and how they create that intensity of the game, and the way their composure and their
Yeah.
experience take over. That's how I learned, by watching the best and pick out what works for you and
What
make
works for
it
you.
make it your own.